Your friends are scrolling through short content, but you, my friend, you're here to learn. Welcome to TRS Clips. Beginning with what you said about Hinduism and Buddhism being similar yet very different, I'd like to know.
I think it will not be fair on my part to say that I can compare both religions or both faiths. Because Buddhism I know a fair bit, Hinduism I don't know that much. But from what limited knowledge that I have, and some of the swamis and the gurus and pandits that I know, the main difference would be that in Buddhism, and I may be wrong, but one of the main difference would be in the intention and the motivation of why we do certain things, like Havan, for example, fire puja, Agni Yag, chanting mantras, going to a temple, or even like eating, drinking, sleeping, and just breathing. In Buddhism, the idea is that um, samsara is full of suffering. The nature of samsara itself is suffering, and samsara is the deluded state of mind. That's what we call as samsara. Samsara is not a physical place, like you can say Juhu or Kolaba. It's not like that. Samsara is when your mind is confused and deluded, and your default emotions are that of ego, ignorance, anger, attachment, jealousy, greed, the negative emotions. So if your default emotions are negative, that's samsara. And if your default emotions are purified and is that of patience, compassion, love, generosity, so on, then it's nirvana. So in a nutshell, that's how we describe it. So in Buddhism, especially in the Buddhism that we practice, Mahayana and Vajrayana, we wish for all sentient beings, all beings, living beings, to be rid of suffering and to find everlasting happiness. And that's what we call enlightenment. To basically wake up from this matrix.
Like the simulation of materialism around us.
Yeah, because if I may expand upon it from a Buddhist perspective, some whatever we experience, whatever we see, whatever we feel has two modes. One is appearance and one is its nature. We are caught up in the mode of the appearance. We don't go beyond appearance, and we don't see things for how they really are. We only see and feel things for how they appear. It's like a small child when he or she sees a movie and then cries at the end, "Daddy, wo doggy mar gaya," the dog has died, and the daddy will say, "No, no, 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 don't worry. This is a movie. Dog hasn't died." Daddy sees, the parents see the movie, the appearance, but they also know the nature, the real side of it, the background. The child doesn't know. So we are like children. We're caught up in the display, and we don't see the real nature of how things actually are. We only see things for how they appear. If you remember these two modes, tomorrow when you have a meeting, when you go to the beach, when you play football, when you go to the gym, when you interview somebody else, anything, things start to make so much sense. And you don't get caught up with only the mere appearance, the maya. You go beyond that, and you understand everything is impermanent, everything is subject to change. People are not bad by nature. Temporarily, yeah, they get angry and all that. So it's okay. And sometimes it's okay not to be okay. You learn, perspective changes. So in Buddhism, our ultimate motivation is that all beings, sentient beings, be free from this kind of delusion, and to see the real nature of phenomena, and to be free from confusion and so on.
What are the two, Mahayana and Vajrayana? What are the differences?
So basically in Buddhism, there are three different vehicles. We call them vehicles. They're like three different paths that you can go on. There is the Theravada path, which is mostly practiced in some parts of India. I think in Maharashtra it's practiced quite a lot, and you have in Thailand, Cambodia. You've seen those monks, orange robes,
Yeah.
barefoot, and all that. They practice a very orthodox and very traditional form of Buddhism, and based very much on discipline. And their motivation and intention is mostly centered around themselves and their own small community. Now in Mahayana, it is expanded to all sentient beings, not only to yourself and to your monk community, but is including all the beings, because no living being wants to be sad, and every living being, whether it's human, dog, insect, want to be happy. That's why ants carry all that breadcrumbs. That's why dogs wag their tails. It's just there in nature. So Mahayana recognizes that. And Vajrayan is Mahayana, but it's like the turbo version of it with the nitro. So it's a very shortcut, fast path towards enlightenment.
Like how we have Tantra.
Yeah, and we
Same
practice
logic.
tantra, we practice kriya tantra, charya tantra, anuttara tantra, like different kinds of practices. We practice havan. So we have included a lot of practices and traditions from different faiths also. Also from Hinduism, we have adopted a lot of things. Also from, like you mentioned at the beginning, Bon or shaman tradition, we have employed a lot of things.
It's with the goal of nirvana.
Yes, not only for yourself, but for all beings. So that might be the biggest difference, I think, between Hinduism and Buddhism.
Yeah, fair. I mean, there is a thought in Hinduism about thinking for the welfare of society,
Mhm.
but I've not come across too many Hindu scholars, at least on the show, who've spoken about complete general
Universal.
universal positives. When you're a good person, when you do good deeds, you do accumulate a little more karma. When you pray, it's a little more karma. When you meditate intensely, it's a little more karma. When you do certain tantric rituals, it's even more. It's a volcanic amount of karma. Therefore, you're able to move down the path of enlightenment faster when you do certain rituals. Am I right till
You're
this
very
point?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
In the world of Hindu Tantra, there's a big significance of deities, which is basically a format of God. So you have the universal God, which is Parabrahm, and then you have a version of it which is understandable for the human mind. That same God expresses itself as Durga Ma or Krishna or Shiva or Hanuman. It's God, but expressing itself in a version that would be helpful to you based on your subjective reality and path.
Okay.
Now, what I understand is that in um, certain parts of the world that practice Buddhism, even you have deities
Yes.
like Tara.
Yes.
Yes. You want to give us a little bit about the Buddhist angle on deities and how does Buddhism generally look at deities? Because the assumption about Buddhism is that we pray to the Buddha when we talk about Buddhism. Like that is Shiva, I'm assuming.
Yes.
For a lot of Hindus, Shiva is the ultimate.
Yes.
For a lot of Hindus, Krishna is the ultimate. So I would assume that for Buddhists, Buddha is the ultimate. But then where is there a room for deities?
Okay. So Buddha, when we mention the Buddha, we are talking about Siddhartha Gautama, who was a prince in ancient India and so on. We look at him as an inspiration. We look at him as a guide, as a sort of like a prophet, one who showed the path, at least in this eon, in this kalpa, in our age. So we pay homage to him, but we don't see him as a god. That is against Buddhist ideals. So we don't actually believe in a creator and a destroyer. We believe in the accumulation of positive karma and negative karma. Deities like Tara, Avalokiteshwar, Vajrapani, Manjushri, we have a myriad amount of deities, some peaceful and some wrathful.
Really?
Yes. So
By wrathful, do you mean evil?
no, by
Just-
wrathful we don't mean. I don't mean evil. I don't mean angry. By wrathful, I think the one way to put it would be to use the Indian anecdote of I love this word, "Laton ke bhoot, baaton se nahi mante hain." So
Fierce.
yeah, fierce, wrath. We just use the term wrathful, but not angry. They're not angry at you. It's like when a parent scolds you. When your parents scold you, it's not that they hate you. They want to harm you. They want to help you. They want to guide you. But at that time, you're too naughty. So you will only understand the language of air pulling if you're lucky, and a tight slap if you're not that lucky. So in Buddhism, we have wrathful and peaceful deities. And deities, we see them as okay. Now, if you talk about the highest level teachings of Buddha, they are manifestations of your own true nature. In a nutshell, they are certain manifestations of your own true nature, a
talking about the
reflection of your own true nature.
Deities?
Yes. Like Avalokiteshwar is the compassionate nature in a human form of your own true compassion. Tara is a manifestation of your true nature's activity. Manjushri, wisdom. Vajrapani, power, and so on. And then some of the deities, the similarities are very vague and very similar. but then the differences are very similar. But basically, that's how we see deities are. We don't see them as external beings residing somewhere and just blessing us. We try to invoke them by chanting their mantras, by visualizing them. And in doing so, we're not connecting with someone who's out there. We're connecting with our own primordial true nature, which we feel is enlightened. So our true nature itself, our core is good, it's clean, it's enlightened. It's just a wrapping. It's wrapped up. It's like a diamond Kohinoor wrapped up in a rag. If you have a rag over there, nobody would know there's a Kohinoor inside. So it's a bit like that.
So God is inside you?
Yes, you can call it God, you can call it Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha, Tathagat Garbh, the Buddha nature, you can call it enlightenment. Yeah.
Okay. You've witnessed a deity in front of you?
In the human form, yes. Like His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, we consider him to be a human manifestation of Bhagwan Avalokiteshwar, of the deity Avalokiteshwar. My own guru, His Holiness the 12th Gyalwang Drukpa, we consider him to be the manifestation of different deities, but usually they are the manifestation of Avalokiteshwar, because we feel that the true nature of compassion manifests in human form in our society, not only as a Buddhist, but can be a Muslim, can be a Hindu, can be an atheist, can be a scientist, can be anything.
So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this playlist for more videos just like this. It's TRS Clips.